What's up, guys? It's Mantis here, and I wanted to sit back and give my thoughts on Fallout New Vegas Day 2024. Though I think they are calling it the Fallout Celebration or the Goodsprings Fallout Celebration because it is longer than one day. I refer to it as Fallout New Vegas Days now, but it's always just a fantastic time when the town of Goodsprings opens its doors to Fallout fans to come and celebrate not just Fallout New Vegas, which is probably why they call it the Fallout Celebration, but Fallout in general. The old man liver who owns the Pioneer Saloon and the Goodsprings General Store has become a tremendous fan of Fallout, loves the fans tremendously, and organized this event. I remember him reaching out to me before the first one and telling me like, oh, hey, I'm just getting into Fallout. I run the Pioneer Saloon in the Goodsprings General Store, like I just said. He had purchased it a few years back, and he came to me and said, hey, I've watched a lot of your videos, and I've been getting into New Vegas myself, and it's really cool that Goodsprings is featured like right at the beginning, and he just really loves the town and the locals, and it's fantastic. So when he wanted to organize this event, the first time he invited me out and asked for suggestions, and we both agreed like, hey, let's see how it goes, and then we'll start suggesting from there. But luckily, so many more people have gotten involved. Fallout for Hope, the independent Fallout wiki, just really cool organizations that are within the community that have come together and organized terrific events, and it wouldn't be the same without them. When I was pitching, I would have never thought, even though it seems so obvious now, I would have never thought, let's do this costume contest, let's do Fallout themed like Family Feud games out on the deck, having screenings of Fallout related content out on the same deck, a bunch of tables set up for various games where people bring in caps and they play poker or blackjack or Caravan, and all just congregate talking about Fallout, loving Fallout, and really celebrating the franchise. A couple of things that I want to start with before I really get into the conversation here. First is I had about an hour's worth of footage on my phone, and I don't know what the hell happened. I remember at the airport, I was like, I'll make sure to sync that to my cloud so that by the time I get home, I can download it to my PC, get a video ready. By the time I got home, it wasn't in my cloud and it wasn't on my phone, and I don't really know what I did. I don't know if I accidentally deleted it or something, if there was too many files, if it was because I went into airplane mode afterwards and then got into a plane, maybe perhaps during the transfer. I don't know what it is. But I know that I had some footage and I don't anymore. So what I thought would be a really good idea is to give my thoughts about it, but to showcase other creators that showed up. That way I can promote their channels as well. It gives a really good excuse to do that. But I can also see it through the lens of others. One thing is so let's start with what I think could be changed. Or what I wouldn't mind if it got changed, because I'm not in charge of any changes. I could pitch things to Old Man Liver all day, but when he has his plans, he has his plans. It's his event. But one thing that makes the trip a little is Fallout New Vegas Day, or the Fallout Celebration in Goodsprings, is scheduled now right before the F1 races on the Strip. And this was the same the year before as well, in 2023. The reason that is not fun, it's loathed by both tourists and locals alike. It's probably one of the only things that tourists and locals agree on and would do a handshake in the middle of the Strip about. It just destroys the Strip. It ruins a lot of the tourism spots, which is how a bunch of the locals that commute into the Strip for work, it messes their lives up tremendously. And I remember the last year in 2023 when we went, not only was that happening, but the housekeeping that at Planet Hollywood, where we stayed in 2023, was on strike And I think the F1 races had something to do with it. There could have been underlying issues as well, but I think that was like the tipping point, because what they'll do is they'll black out windows in certain hotel rooms so that you can't view the strip. They put up big walls that you can't see through, and in 2023 they were like paper, and people were like pulling the paper down. Okay, whatever, there's thousands of people that walk through the strip every single day, so it makes sense that there's going to be some people that are like, so instead this year they made them metal. You couldn't see off of the bridges the pedestrian bridges that you use to cross the strip, things of that nature. A lot of the cool stuff that you would normally see, unless you're high up in a suite, you're not going to be able to see a lot of that stuff when you're just walking around the strip. It's unfortunate. Now, the cries of a tourist to Vegas aside, it makes travel quite difficult. It makes almost anything you can think of and intensifies it. Oh, you want to go to Fremont? Well, that's going to be 30 minutes. The Ubers, they don't want to come all the way out to Goodsprings, so you have to get a premium Uber, and it makes it makes a lot of things related to Vegas kind of a headache. And this year it was right before, just a few days before the F1 races, so there was a lot of that to deal with. Another thing, if we're talking specifically about the event, of things that I think could be done better, is the lines. So I noticed incredible lines, and to my knowledge, from what I heard people talking about, and people that had drones and stuff, they were talking about the numbers of people that had shown up, and I heard over 13,000 people throughout the weekend came through Goodsprings. Whether or not they were the same people both days, whatever, but that's how many people were in that area off and on. And we had lines that were going all the way down one side of the street, and then another line that was going all the way down the others. So if you looked at it, it'd be like a a road, and then split off in two directions were just lines that you couldn't see the end of. I walked through the lines because I was like, hey, I feel like some people might want to meet me, and they might not know where to find me, and if they're in this big of a line, might as well go out and see how everybody's doing, and yeah, a lot of people immediately knew who I was and immediately wanted to talk to me, said nice things, shook my hand.
See if I can get it. Yes. Did you know that the line in Fallout New Vegas Day is a reference to the loading screens in Fallout New Vegas? Credit goes to homeboy over here. Come to Fallout New Vegas Day.
Hell yeah.
Things of that nature. But when I asked them, hey, what is this line? They said, so people towards the front of the line knew what it was, which was a line to get into the general store. And that's so that you can walk through, get a souvenir t-shirt, little trinkets and stuff like that. And further on down the line, as you were asking people, it seemed like they were under the assumption that it was the line to actually get into the event. Wasn't the case. If you just wanted to go into the Pioneer Saloon and or behind where everybody was and everybody was hanging out, you just walk through the gate as long as you had a wristband. Boom, bang, you're in. And it was a free event normally. This year, the saloon decided to have a VIP area where if you paid some amount of money, there was some covered tents and a nice little area to sit down, and a one-on-one drink vendor kind of situation. Well, not one-on-one because there was, multiple VIPs, but it's better than a 20-minute line. One thing that's fine, I'm not going to sit here and talk about, every time I've talked to Old Man Liver, he's told me that he loses money on this event. He apparently doesn't make money from this. So hopefully this year maybe he did, because it would be nice. From when I saw the tents aren't cheap. He was doing shuttle buses from the strip to Goodsprings all day, so those aren't cheap, renting out shuttle buses. He told me some of the numbers on this, and it was just hundreds of thousands of dollars that he'd spent on just the amenities. So I would hope that he made some of that back. But we don't really talk about the money stuff, but it's just you're curious, I wonder if he made anything back. And then I remember somebody made the comment of, yeah, you could use some of this money to do this and that. And he said, you know how many burgers I'd have to flip to break even here? So he goes into it knowing that it's not necessarily going to, bring him great wealth and tremendous fortune. anyways, the one thing that I would change about that scenario is that I first off, I had the privilege of meeting a bunch of really terrific content creators, some of which I've been wanting to meet for a really long time. Some of the bigger names that you may know, like Tunnel Snake Fools. I met Juicehead. I met Zach Friendfrock. Everybody was super fucking nice. Everybody had a really good attitude. And they seem to be enjoying the event. So that's great. But one thing I would say to content creators is that if you come to this event and you're a Fallout content creator that a lot of people know, I'm not talking about the guy that, you know, has made some videos and they're trying to make connections out there. It's like you have your own agenda going on when you're trying to build your following at an event like that. But if people know who you are and you've talked about being there, don't hide in that VIP area. And I'm not saying that like people hid there, you know, I'm using the term passively, but it like, if you're there, cool. That's what it's there for, because all the content, well, at least myself, I can only speak for myself. I was given VIP access and my own table to like my own table in the public and my own little lanyard for VIP access as a guest of the Pioneer Saloon. I don't know what other content creators may have got that or not, but I know that Zach was a part of a lot of stuff because he showed some of his Nuka Break stuff, and I think debuted a scene from Breaking on the deck one night, and everybody liked it. Everybody was cheering. It was really cool to watch. But if you're there as a content creator and a lot of people know who you are, spending 5-6 hours in that VIP tent, people are coming up to the VIP tent, and then you're like they didn't like people weren't ignoring people or anything like that, but it's like people are in part there to see you, and you've made a point to come out and do this public event amongst fans of not only Fallout but of your work. So being accessible, I think, is important if you're kind of a public figure in the Fallout community. It's something that like I said, I several times I walked up and down the line just and shook people's hands who wanted to talk to me, and anybody who recognized who I was or said something about it, I'd stop and have a conversation with it. Not everybody has to do that, but you don't make a habit out of just chilling in that VIP, because it's like $100 or something like that to get in there. And a lot of, some people don't have that and they just want to meet you. And again, the people that I saw hanging out in there for a while weren't ignoring anybody or anything like that. They would come out and like talk to fans and things of that nature. But I feel like it's a slippery slope for people to get complacent and to be like, well, if you're a VIP, I'll meet you. And nobody was doing that, but I could see it happening, kind of thing. Anyways, so those are a couple of things that I changed. This year, I think the food options were a lot better. The year before, there was only the kitchen and like a food truck, and it got overwhelmed. It's not that the food at the Pioneer Saloon is fantastic. So it's not that the food isn't good. It's that they get overwhelmed. This is a small bar that usually caters to at most maybe 100 people on a crazy bit. Like that's the craziest, busiest weekend when they have, like some kind of event or something like that going on. And then normally probably deals with like 20 to 30 people a day, if that, depends on if, a group of bikers comes through or, something of that nature. So to think that thousands of people, it's going to overwhelm this kitchen and one food truck. There was a couple of food trucks there this time. There was a VIP line for the food, which I think is a huge selling point for that VIP lanyard, because you get your own line to go up and order something from the kitchen. There was still a decent wait time, but again, they're dealing with hundreds of orders, so it's easy to overlook. I heard less people complaining about that, and they also did really good with the bathrooms this year. There was a row of like actual like what I'd call cubicle style toilets, like not outhouses or porta potties, but like toilets. But then there was also like a string of porta potties. So if those were all filled up, you could go to the porta potty or you could wait for one of those. And there was like 10 to 15 like separate bathroom situations. So I think that was handled much better than it was last time. Again, it's a learning experience. Old Man Liver and the Pioneer Saloon, they don't have all the answers to how many people are going to be showing up, which is what I think they tried to do this time with an RSVP notice. That way they had an idea of how many people were going to show up. But I would be curious to hear the official final numbers, but I heard it was at least over 10,000, pushing 13,000 for the whole weekend. And then next year it's planned around the same time, but to be 3 days instead of 2. There's also the Mojave Mayhem after party, which I'll show a couple of clips here, but they are a little dicey, so I don't want to go crazy with it. But there was a Fallout themed burlesque show, as well as some live performances from people who were on the Pioneer Saloon, the Fallout era album, which I encourage you to check out because 2 of my Fallout covers are on it as well. You can find it on most places that music is streamed: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, things like that. But you can also pick up a physical edition, which is you can pick up a vinyl or a CD at the Goodsprings General Store's website. I can put a link in the description about it, but definitely check it out because it's really cool takes on some Fallout songs, and my goofy self doing a couple of covers, Jingle Jangle and The Wanderer. One of my friends was in line to get food and overheard people talking in front of him, and one of them was like, hey, I like TKs-Mantis, I like his videos a lot, but God, I just hate hearing him sing. So if that isn't a ringing endorsement of you to check out this album, I don't know what is. But overall, the event was fantastic. The vibes were pretty much off the charts, going good. Somebody did try to fight me. I don't know if it was somebody from the internet or some like local, but like this dude just like, oh, punched the microphone here. Sorry about that. But this dude, I punched the microphone mimicking what this guy was doing, but this dude sat there with his crossed arms, leaned in like the middle of the table that I was given. I was handing out stickers and signing autographs at this table, and he like leaned against it. And to put it into more context, like there's these like permanent tables made out of wood that are in front of the stage at the Pioneer Saloon, and so they're like built into the structure. So like typically I'd imagine on a normal day people would sit at these and watch the show, but Steve, Old Man Liver, had given me one of these tables to hand out stickers and sign autographs and stuff. So it's like, cool, whatever. I do one of my loops and I come back and there's this dude just like cross-armed, leaning up against the middle of the table, like facing outwards. And I was like, oh, hey man, do you mind moving over a little bit? This is my table. And he was like, this whole table is your table? I'm like, okay, yeah. And I explained to him that Old Man Liver gave me the table for the event. And he was like, well, I'm not blocking anybody, man. You can still put like shill your wares or something like that. Like he like super like derogatory. And I was like, well, first off, I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving out stickers and signing autographs. And secondly, like this is my spot. Like I'm like, this doesn't have to be a problem. He's like, oh, it's not a problem. And I was like, dude, just come on. He's like, what did you say? I'm hard of hearing. You know, one of these fucking guys. Anyway, there was armed guards there that pretty much looked like police. This time around, from what I understand, they dealt with that situation. I don't know what the deal was. So if that was one of you guys out there, explain to me why you did that. That was so weird. It's so anti the vibe of that place that it was like weird. My friends got involved. Like I have a friend from Boston who's a vet, and like he's a combat veteran, and was instantly in this guy's face. It didn't have to be like, it was weird. It was a weird scenario. Anyway, beyond that, the vibes were stellar. I met a ton of really cool people. I met a ton of people who are fans of my videos. I gave out a bunch of stickers, hundreds of stickers I gave out. There was like this little boy. He could have been like a younger teenager, like, I don't know, like 13 or something like that. But he had this TKs-Mantis shirt that I like hasn't even been for sale for like, I want to say 5 or 6 years. And so it was like weird like that he had the shirt and it had like wear on it. So either he had found the shirt maybe it was a couple years ago when it stopped being sold. Or I don't know. But anyway, it was a classic shirt I hadn't seen in years. And this kid like had it and it had wear on it, meaning that he like had worn it all over the place. He got super excited to see that I was there. Like, I don't know. It's moments like that like really feel nice. And you can put faces and people to the viewer count on your videos. Like you see a count, you're like, oh, 1,000 people watch this video, but you can't picture, you know, the 1,000 people that are watching it. So when you do meet the people that watch your stuff, it's really cool. So that's always a big draw for me to go there and just talk to people face to face that have watched my videos, who have checked out the channel, and who love Fallout, because I love talking about Fallout. And there was a lot of that going around. Like I said, there was the Fallout Family Feud style game where it was just like Fallout questions. And I remember the guy who won it, because I was over at my table, and the guy who won it came running up to me and he was like, oh, I won the Fallout Family Feud and I just wanted to tell you. And I was like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Like, it was a really cool vibe. Of course, we had the costume contest. I'll show a couple of clips of that.
The ones I'm hearing the most for is Gary, Klein, and Lanius. Am I correct? Yeah! Sorry, Henry. It's okay.
Great job,
you look great, buddy. Okay, so we're going to decide third place right here. And then we're going from there. So, Gary. Klein. Very good. Lanius? Now, as a crowd, I want you to tell me, am I correct in thinking third place Gary, second place Klein, first place Lanius? No? You have doubts. You have doubts. I'm calling you out. Am I wrong? Klein? Okay. Lanius number 2? Number 3. Okay, so third place goes to Gary. 1 second.
Gary, you won!
Here you go, sir. Second place for Lanius. Here you go, sir. The first prize. Who will be taking on the back from there? Dr. Klein! And here's the back back. Here you go, Klein. You really have the arms for it. There you go. Give it up for everybody tonight. Thank you all for coming to Follow New Vegas Day.
Line, stay! Line, stay!
So, the social media team wants you to lose your fucking mind for Follow New Vegas Day 2024.
Yeah, of course, that Dr. Klein took the gold. You know, overall, Fallout New Vegas Day or the Fallout Celebration, whatever you want to call it, is just a fantastic. It's like going to like the biggest Fallout convention. You know what I mean? Like, and everybody there. Oh, I almost forgot. I met the professional as well, the GTA Rockstar YouTuber. One of my favorites, and he was there too. I was able to talk to him, and he was a really cool guy. We got each other's numbers so that we could chat. Like, it was a really cool experience. But I just wanted to make sure that I shouted him out because I love his videos, and it was really cool to meet him. But the whole vibe there is so good, and it has been all 3 years, and I imagine it will be next year when it's 3 days long. It's like going to the biggest Fallout convention that you can imagine. And the really cool thing about it is you can see people's eyes light up if they haven't been to Goodsprings when they start walking up the hill and they see the saloon and they see the general store and they see everybody in their vault suits and their costumes. You can see, like, it's like being a kid again and like being getting that excited again. And because of that, like, I'll never stop supporting this event. It's so phenomenal. I plan on being there next year. And I really, really, really encourage you to do the same. Make the trip whenever you can. You won't regret it. If you haven't been to Vegas, it's a great excuse to go to Vegas for a weekend, and then you get to do some fun Fallout stuff as well. That's my take on Fallout New Vegas Day 2024. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about it. Make sure to check out the Discord. The link will be in the description. I love chatting with you guys, and I want it to be more active. The only way for it to be more active is if you join it. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. I talk about Fallout all the time on this channel, as well as doing, I try to do live streams a couple times a week at least. So definitely come out and check those out. I'm also on Twitch if you're more that speed when it comes to streams. Thank you. I love you. It has been Mantis.